you sign up for Prime.
Most likely.
Yeah. Let's go on to our next story, which is a brief snippet about SanDisk. I know we're late.
Okay.
SanDisk USB Type-C flash drive, the first of its kind. 128 gig capacity, 7 millimeters thick, 150 megabytes per second reads.
Damn.
Via USB 3.1. Pretty sexy.
Okay.
This is like the first official image of a USB-C flash drive I've seen.
Really?
I mean, like one that's like actually coming to market. I've seen prototypes and stuff, but I haven't seen like
I showed
an actual one.
I have
You have
Kingston one, yeah.
Oh,
From last year at Computech.
why didn't? Oh, because I didn't go to Computech.
Yeah. Kingston has a little
Swag, man.
It's
swag.
not.
It's all about the swag.
It's not as fast as this one, and it's not 3.1. It was USB 3.0, but it was Type
That's
C.
okay.
And it was a little flippable one, so it had a
Right.
Type C connector on one side and a Type A connector on the other side.
Right.
It's fun.
But it's useless and outdated now because it's not.
But now it sucks
3.1.
because it's not this one. It's not 3.1.
Stupid.
Right.
But cool.
Alright.
I'm hopefully going to see some more of these possibilities.
Place looks
And lastly,
Lastly, we've got Deadpool. That movie with this guy apparently was powered by NVIDIA in the opening action scene, which is a very awesome scene. If you haven't seen the movie yet, without giving too much away, opening action scene is awesome. Created by Blur Studio. That whole scene was rendered by NVIDIA hardware with rendering speeds 15 times faster than using CPUs, of course. Seeing also like 30 times faster than Potato. So,
good.
very revealing facts here. The scene was created with Autodesk 3ds Max and rendered with the Chaos Group's GPU renderer, V-Ray RT, which runs on several NVIDIA Quadro and M6000 GPUs.
I'm not showing people any of this.
No, you're not.
Just,
All you had to do, you had one job,
There we
Paul. One job.
look, they did a color replace and replace the red with green
Yes,
to make
they're
it a video.
very,
Yeah.
very clever. Very
Okay.
clever. Never give. So yes, NVIDIA Quadro M6000s, very powerful workstation GPUs, helping to increase the complexity of the scene, allows them to do more with it each time. You should go see Deadpool if you haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Not
I need to
really.
talk to someone in.
Sorry.
Oh.
I want to.
Look, I don't
I
know
will.
anything.
Go see it. Don't bring your kids. I walked into the theater and I'm like, why? Why are these parents bringing their kids to see Deadpool? It's
Yeah.
rated R for a reason, people.
I read several articles about why you shouldn't bring your kid to see Deadpool.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't.
My eye.
But it's a hilarious movie if you're not 16. Or if you're not 12. It's still hilarious if you're 16. Anyway, that's pretty much going to conclude for my half of the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching, but don't go anywhere because we're about to do part 2, or side B of Awesome Hardware, episode 52, on Paul's house.
According to the red letters on top of the XSplit dialog box, we are now streaming live
Woo!
to both Twitch
Yay!
and YouTube. Okay, so let's start off the show. Hi everyone, and welcome. This is Awesome Hardware. It's a live show. I do it here with Kyle Tuesday evening, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to catch us live, then follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are down in those areas, and you can watch our live show. We're streaming to YouTube right now. This is my half of the show, which is the second half for this week. We're episode 52. If you missed the first half, it's on Kyle's channel on Awesome Sauce Network. It should be linked in the down below as well.
Yep.
We've been doing a little bit of drinking, although I'm not too bad right now.
No.
We drink some beer, we talk about technology,
Hi,
and we have a good
excuse
time.
me.
That's
I don't
kind of
know
the
anything.
general MO of this
Look,
show.
could you-
I'm drinking AleSmith Nut Brown, which I highly recommend.
Yes.
Kyle is drinking
Monkey Fist IPA.
Monkey Fist IPA.
Shipyard Brewing. Very good.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you like it.
It's very good.
I completely bought it because it was called Monkey
Thanks.
Fist, and I thought that was funny.
Is there still more in here?
I don't drink many IPAs though, so yeah, you got. Jeez, dude, look at you.
Damn, look at that.
This
Awful
is,
pour.
This is the rest of my Nut Brown.
I've been sipping.
You know why though? It's
I've been
because
sipping
on your
on
half
this.
of the show you talk a lot.
That's true.
You're talking, and I'm sitting over here just like fucking Kyle. Come on.
Oh, shut up, Paul. You talk more than all of us.
Anyway,
PJ, by the way, for the
Jace-
generous nation, still can't figure out how to donate to you guys.
Scrivy.
I think you'll get there. I think I'm
Scrivy.
close.
Scrivy is working on it, but thank you so much, Jay, for your donation.
And Jominator.
Guys, we do not at all, in the very least bit, require you to donate on YouTube, but you're welcome to if you want to.
Yeah.
John Maneer as well,
You
thank
know-
you for the donation, and I will be drinking more booze. And we're out of bananas though. We ate some bananas on Kyle's half of the show.
Yeah. We're full of potassium now.
It was scandalous. Okay, before we move into some more tech news, let us go quickly over the fact that we both have some stores and we sell some merchandise. And if you guys want to support us in what we do on our YouTube channels, that's a great way to do that and also get yourself some merchandise. So I've got some shirts and some mugs. Wait, shirts, mugs, and glasses.
I
Shirts. I
don't
also
mean
have some
to-
hoodies.
no.
I also have a brand new shirt design that will be coming out hopefully soon, maybe the next
Why
week.
won't
or two.
anybody help
I also
me?
have the
The
pint
virus
glasses.
is all over the
Pure
city.
pint glasses
People
that
are
you see us
dying.
drinking here on the show. Drinking from, I should say. Also available. If you want to check out Kyle's store, it's awesomesaucenetwork.com/store.
copy.
He has this brand new CPU cooler shirt. It's the same design with the CPU cooler, but it is now on a shirt that is made completely from his wife's skin.
Yes.
Heather.
Heather Navy.
Heather, and she's
Heather
also in the
material.
Navy. She's also
She was
It's weird. It's
uh,
weird.
fine seaman.
It's very comfortable though. Very comfortable.
Very well respected in the seaman community.
From everything I understand.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to tech news. I do want to point out that I don't have a whole lot of tech news to talk about.
Did I steal all the good stories?
Kyle was really on top of things this morning. You shared so like every Tuesday morning, Kyle and I kind of race to see like who can get all the good stories, and it really depends on who gets up earlier at this point.
Right.
I got this notification that Kyle shared something like at 7 a.m. or something, and I was like, screw that. So anyway.
I was like, just give up.
But no, I did scrape a few from the leftovers here. So let's start off with this article from WCCF Tech. It's a WCCF Tech article, which means rumors and grains of salt and all that good stuff. But Khalid Moammar wrote this article. This is about AMD's Polaris architecture and the possibility, or what seems like maybe even a likelihood, that we'll see some 400 series GPUs start selling in April.
Nice.
Which isn't too far away. That's like a little over a month.
Yeah.
But they got this information based on Lenovo and Lenovo's information that they released about their new yoga lineup. Not their logo lineup. I have not been drinking that much.
And so it begins.
Anyway, so
Slurfest.
So Lenovo listed specs for a couple of these their yogas, their flexible ones that flip around and that kind of stuff, and they say they're going to have 400 series GPUs in them.
You know what? It never occurred to me why they were called yogas.
Because they're flexible.
Because they're flexible. I didn't get that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to be like
the more you know.
Good for your health or something. I was like, does it come in spandex?
All right, no, I can't. See,
No,
I can't claim to have never come to a similar realization to that as well.
Yeah.
There was some. I can't remember.
It's like that aha moment.
Makes sense. There was intelligence behind that decision.
Yeah, right. We're just let's just pick a word from the dictionary.
The monotoner. Thank you so much for your donation, sir. Really appreciate it. I'm glad that you can gain some hopefully some information and at least some entertainment from our show. That's why we drink. Because at least if we're not bringing you anything that's like actual viable information, at least we're drinking and maybe saying silly things from time to time.
Yeah.
All right. Going back to this story about the 400 series GPUs, though. So what this probably is not, and I would say almost 100% certain is not, is Polaris. What this probably is rebadges, refreshes of prior GPUs that already exist in 300 series. This is common practice. They take they take an R9 280 and now it's an R9 370 or that kind of thing. I don't even know if those line up, but it's really hard to keep track of them. They do it so often.
Yeah.
So what we do know about Polaris, and Polaris is the code name not just of the GPU architecture, but of this whole next generation family of GPUs they're working on over at the Radeon Group, is we do know that there are two 14 nanometer FinFET based Polaris GPUs. We've discussed this a little bit on past episodes of the show. Their code names right now that they're working with AMD is Polaris 11 and Polaris 10. Polaris 11 is a small GPU. It is meant to deliver console-class gaming performance in thin and light notebooks. Polaris 10 is a large GPU. Giving some...
Just keep going with the hand gestures. You're killing it. Those hand gestures are killing it.
Yeah, 10 is a large GPU. It's described as the successor to the R9 Fury X, so we would expect that it must be faster then and maybe more energy efficient and all that kind of stuff. Details are still pretty scant, but the demos they've been showing in Polaris that they had at CES and whatnot were pretty impressive, especially when you're looking at power consumption.
Yeah.
The actual Polaris GPUs, as opposed to 400 series GPUs, there will probably be 400 series GPUs that have Polaris in them, but then there will also be 400 series that are rebadges of 300 series that have 300 series stuff in them in GCN.
Right.
But yeah, the actual Polaris GPUs are expected to launch this summer, and based on information that has come out from AMD, before the back-to-school season. So that means, to me, between Computex and back-to-school time, which is kind of like June to August, summer time frame.
Right.
And we definitely very much so hope that AMD sticks to that schedule.
So you'll be that much more productive with your homework when these GPUs hit,
Yes.
just in time for the school season.
You'll be able to do
Because
all
you won't
that.
be gaming at all on these Polaris GPUs.
All that heavy lifting from your AutoCAD work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went to college with my roommate was an architect, so he actually really did need GPU, like a decent GPU for AutoCAD.
That would have been like,
Yeah.
if I was smart enough back then, that's like the major I would have gone into, just so my parents would buy me like a gaming PC.
He had a harder time back then because CUDA wasn't where it's at, so you actually, to do a workstation, you actually had to buy a workstation graphics card, which was expensive. Anyway, all right. In other news here, this isn't something I would normally talk about, but I found it slightly amusing, I guess. Apparently Xbox Live has been down again as persistent troubles haunt the Xbox One. This is a VentureBeat.com article. There's Xbox Live writhing in flames. And then the article
The
goes...
Red Ring of Death returns.
Yeah, the article goes on to explain the sorry state, apparently, of the Xbox Live network, which you try to access and it throws you this error. When you try to launch a game or something like that.
It's so broad. Try again in a while.
Yeah, try in a while.
Like, just wait a while.
No definitive time frame or something or anything like that. Anyway, according to this article, because I don't know, because I have an Xbox 360 yet, but I do not have Xbox Live. But according to this article, it was back up as of 1 p.m. today, so it is back online now. But it was down for more than half a day, which to me means more than 12 hours.
Yeah.
Since this is a paid service, it costs about $60 a year to get a gold membership for Xbox Live. People get pissed off when it goes down.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, because it doesn't just mean that you can't play video games. It means you also can't access Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Instant Video if those are things that you have set up through your Xbox Live membership to feed through to your Xbox.
Basically an HTPC.
Yeah, which
you
is
can't use at all.
And that's one of the things, that they're trying to sell the Xbox One as. It's like, it's not just this game console, it also does all this other stuff. But hey,
So Xbox Live is connected to the Netflix service.
If you can't
on an
properly
Xbox.
log into Xbox Live, then you can't use the streaming video services from Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon.
Got it.
So
That's dumb.
basically, you need
sucks.
to figure out some other way of connecting a device to your living room monitor or TV or whatever if you wanted to watch movies out there. So that kind of sucks. I mean, I can understand Xbox Live going down. They have to deal with a lot of, spam attacks or DDoS and that kind of stuff. But it's disappointing that they've tied those other services in,
Yeah.
so that people don't have an alternative to use. This is also apparently the second week in a row that this has occurred. Apparently, there was another incident last week that was similar. And in what is, get that out of here. And in what is the most humorous aspect of this particular one, Snoop Dogg is super pissed off. So let's see what Snoop Dogg has to say.
He does not look like he's fucking around.
What the fuck? Y'all fucking servers fucking whack, man. Y'all can make me switch to PlayStation if y'all ever get this shit fixed. It's that difficult to play somebody online. What the fuck is you doing, Bill Gates? Fix your shit, man.
And now we know why Snoop hasn't come out with any albums recently.
Apparently Snoop is spending all his time on Xbox Live. Far too much.
Awesome.
But you know what? Snoop Dogg jumps on Instagram and posts a video about that.
You know some controversial shit.
Yeah, we should. He's local, right? He lives in Southern California.
Yeah, he's West Coast gangsta.
I mean, I would gladly build Snoop a gaming PC.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Get him off the Xbox bandwagon and have him try something like that. I have zero connections.
So do I.
Oh no, we do though. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
We
Do a
could
joint build or something.
we could hit up. Arabian Prince was an NWA.
Right. Who's connected to Dre?
He's
who's
connected to
to
Dre.
Snoop.
Who's connected with Snoop. So
6 degrees
maybe we
separation.
need to exercise that.
link
Yeah,
that
if
we
you guys
have.
didn't know, Kyle and I were both approached by Arabian Prince, who was one of the original members of NWA when we were in Las Vegas for
yeah.
CES, and he watches our channels and stuff.
He said Dre has seen my videos.
It was really surreal. It was very surreal. But he
Nuts.
he does music production and stuff, and he said that he takes people in the industry who are using Apple products and turns them onto PCs, the PC side of it, and DIY stuff, and apparently he uses our videos to show people that.
Freaking insane.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Anyway, all right, let's move on. This is some newsy news here.
Newsy.
This is from Tom's IT Pro, and Unisplendor, who is a company I've never really heard of, to be perfectly honest, has canceled their $3.8 billion Western Digital investment, which has then thrown the SanDisk acquisition into doubt. Now, this was information that to me was new on several different points here. Mainly, we have talked about this before, WD acquiring SanDisk, and we looked at it as oh, that makes sense. That's something WD needed to do. They're making mechanical hard drives, and they really need to get in on the SSD side of it if they want to maintain legitimacy and all that stuff. But I wasn't as aware of some of what was going on behind the scenes with WD, where they were getting the money, and specifically the involvement of Unisplendor, which is just Unisplendor. What is
It's such a weird name.
Unisplendor?
Why not just call yourselves Single Magnificence?
Somebody used
You forgot
some
to tell me
Latin,
this?
some original. I don't know.
Or let's just
like-
take two things and smash them together. It'll work.
The one glowing magnificent company or something like I don't know. Okay, so anyway,
Together we're magic.
what is Unisplendor? Unisplendor, or Unis is what we're going to call them.
Sounds like
because
we're off to a
Unisplendour
good
sounds silly.
start.
They're a subsidiary of a Chinese state-owned Tsinghua Unigroup.
Somehow I knew that.
Unigroup. So basically, the Chinese government owns Tsinghua Unigroup. Tsinghua Unigroup owns Unisplendor. So they're owned by the Chinese government.
Right.
Unisplendor Corporation has canceled this attempted $3.775 billion equity investment into Western Digital. Not a buyout, but a significant investment that would give them 15% ownership of WD as well as a spot on the WD board, which is pretty significant when you're a company like WD that does stuff like WD does. They have canceled this investment due to an intervention by CFIUS, which is the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. That's a U.S. government agency that is supposed to protect vital technology assets that are key to U.S. national security. So,
Yes.
a government regulatory agency in the U.S. has thrown up a flag with this merger because they don't want, technological assets, IP, that kind of stuff from WD to be fed over to the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of the upshot of this. Anyway, if we go back to the Tsinghua Unigroup, who's the company that owns that Unisplendor, they have been on a well-publicized mission to obtain and develop the necessary IP to empower native Chinese production of CPUs, DRAM, and NAND.
Okay.
Because the Chinese government perhaps is suspicious of these products when they are developed and manufactured elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're a conspiracy theorist, because the Chinese government wants to develop products with built-in hardware backdoors or something like that, so then they ship them out to other places they can get into.
Right.
Two sides of that. I don't necessarily believe one or the other for sure there, but they've definitely been trying to do this for some time. CPUs, DRAM, and NAND. They tried to purchase Micron already, as a manufacturer of NAND. If they had gone, I already said if they'd gone through with this investment, that would give them 50% control of WD as well as see it on the board. But when they first announced this merger, apparently it sort of did this chain reaction because HGST and WD, Hitachi Global Storage Technologies, who makes really good hard drives, and WD have been sort of in the midst of this merger for quite some time. But that wasn't approved until this acquisition, or this buy-in on WD happened. So it was weird, this buy-in happened, and then that suddenly kind of kickstarted the approval of the other stuff, because that was being held up by a Chinese regulatory authority called MOFCOM. I don't know what it stands for.
I don't want to know.
Sounds sexy. Anyway, so as soon as this $3.775 billion investment was like kicked off, then suddenly this HGST WD stuff went through. Within 3 weeks of the announcement of the investment by Unisplendor, within 3 weeks of that was when they announced that they were going to purchase SanDisk for $19 billion.
Right.
So anyway, it was some kind of weird stuff going on there that kind of makes you wonder what the heck is going on behind the scenes, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think this is something kind of to still keep an eye on, but for the time being, like I said, it's been kind of pushed off by this regulatory agency in the U.S. WD, for their part, still wants to go ahead with this merger because it really makes a lot of business sense for WD to purchase SanDisk because, again, to get into the SSD market, NAND, all that good stuff. But WD, there were certain stipulations with the agreements in place between WD and SanDisk, and now that Unis isn't involved anymore, like WD is going to be paying less for the SanDisk acquisition and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. It just seems kind of weird. I didn't know that stuff was going on behind the scenes. I thought it was more of a straight up like WD wants to buy SanDisk. Okay, I didn't know that there were these investors going in the background and stuff like that.
Seems pretty complex.
I mean, now that this is out in the open, I think maybe I would prefer WD does go ahead and acquire SanDisk independently. Because I like WD. I appreciate I appreciate their products. I would not want them to have influence outside of the normal scope of operations. And SanDisk and WD are two companies that I've used their products. I have good opinions about both companies, and I think combining forces there could lead to some cool stuff in the future, maybe. But yeah, anyway, we'll try to keep an eye on that and let you guys know. If,
And WD's given us free alcohol.
They have.
So they're automatically.
They have given us free alcohol. That is
Waiting
that's full disclosure. WD has provided us with free alcohol. Okay. Here's one more news story. This is about the FCC and another continuation of something we discussed in the past. The FCC has now voted to unlock the cable box. The story says over Republican opposition. I'm not going to dwell on that too much, but there's opposition to it. The FCC, for their part, has now voted to send this to the next step. So that's a notice of proposed rulemaking. Anyone remember the notice of proposed rulemaking? Kyle?
Nope.
Remember? No?
I don't remember anything.
Okay. The last time we discussed something like this was when the FCC was going into the net neutrality discussions.
Okay.
So the FCC actually, with Tom Wheeler. Tom Wheeler is one of those characters who, like, a lot of us distrusted first, but he seems like he's kind of got the public's best interest in mind.
Yeah.
So I kind of like Tom Wheeler. I like some of the decisions he's made, that kind of thing. Anyway, last time we talked about an NPRM, or Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, was with net neutrality. They introduced those rules, there was a bunch of cable companies and stuff that were trying to oppose them. They opened it up for the public to comment on it because there's a certain period where the public can go and provide their opinions on anything. So we kind of need the opposite of what happened with the net neutrality thing here. We want people to go and say, yes, it's a good thing. The net neutrality thing, they need to say, no, this is stupid.
So we just need their opinion reversed.
Yeah, in this case, the FCC is right, and at least in my opinion, because what they're trying to do is basically get rid of the cable box. The cable box is like some ridiculous. This article doesn't even say it. It's like a $2 billion industry a year for the cable companies. You know, you sign up for your cable, and they're like, oh, you get this cable box, and it's got some DVR and stuff like that.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and then they charge you $15 a month for it, and then you pay monthly on top of your bill.
Right.
If you're like me and you don't want to do that and deal with crappy, super terrible, outdated equipment that they won't replace and update and upgrade for you, and you bring, like, this happened to me with Time Warner back at the apartment. We kept getting these cable boxes. They had like 80 gig hard drives in them. They were awful. They would seize up all the time. My roommate, who watched a lot of sports at the time, he would go insane because he'd record a sporting event and be like halfway through the sporting event. He'd start from the beginning and start watching it. Go to fast forward through a commercial, and it would like seize up and suddenly jump to real time. And he'd see the score and he'd be like, "Oh, well, fuck." Like, we kept trying to bring it back, and they're like, "Oh, we only need more refurbished units out of it." And they're just, it's like Time Warner, and they've got you in a bind, and they're like, "We're gonna screw you over no matter what you say. So here, take this shit that we're giving you because you have no other options."
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You legally are supposed to have other options.
Yeah.
There's something that happened in 1996 that we've also discussed before called the Telecommunications Act of 1996,
Heyo.
which mandated that people should
You're
have
looking for
options
Tom?
in this particular area. Well, they should have options in a lot of situations.
Kyle Crane
But
We really glossed over that one.
yeah, cable kind of companies, they tend to like to ignore that kind of stuff and not have means of enforcing it and all that kind of stuff.
Thanks
But
for the hint, Esky.
so essentially, what this would do is replace.
And you're
there's
okay
no
with
other
it?
good pictures in this
Oh,
article.
come
is there?
on.
Nope, there's not.
You're
Sorry,
from
you
the
guys get
city.
to watch us.
You know people like
this
that,
would replace the
don't
cable
you?
card
Point
solution.
asking
I have a
what
cable
you
card right now.
Well, like that.
Even now, my cable card,
Servants.
my
Just
Verizon charges me $5 a month for the goddamn
Do
cable
something
card, which pisses me off.
spectacular.
This would do away with that entirely. This would make it so you'd have a software solution on whatever device you might happen to want to use, whether it's an HTPC, whether it's a cable box that you already have. That's another one of the things that people are complaining about. Like, oh, it's going to make people have to like get new hardware and make the cable companies have to pay for a bunch of new hardware. Like, no. The cable companies can still keep going with the solution that they have in place. It's just people are going to have this other option as well now, which they're probably going to start going for because you're not going
It's
to
more
pay
fair.
$15 a month for a goddamn
Cable,
cable box from
Yeah.
a cable company. Okay. Trying not to get too pissed off here.
The real question is, when are we going to be able to kiss cable goodbye entirely?
Well, that's a good question.
And just say, hello, Internet,
And-
you have everything I need. And there's no point in,
Yeah, I'm all
dealing with
ears.
ISPs anymore on
It's
any
a
level,
beautiful
other than
story
maybe getting
about-
their Internet.
Yeah.
But,
But honestly, I think proceedings like this is what's going to determine like the future of cable.
Yeah.
The cable companies seem so reticent and so like opposed to any change of this matter, like in this way. But like you read the responses from the cable company that are listed in the article, and you're like, you have your head so far up your ass.
yeah.
Like Comcast senior executive VP David Cohen criticized the FCC's decision. Today's action inexplicably ignores the market-driven, apps-based approach suggested by the technical committee that advised the FCC, which is rapidly proliferating in the market and gives consumers unprecedented options to receive video programming services. Unfortunately, the majority of commissioners have chosen to ignore the many voices of reason and instead to pursue a proposal that strays well beyond the FCC's authority and the Communications Act. So what do you want to download an app that's owned by the cable company that's also shitty and charges you extra money? No.
Yeah.
I want to let a third party develop an app that's awesome and does fantastic things and just have a standard protocol that's set up that allows them access to the cable feeds. If the cable companies are willing to sort of step into the next generation of content delivery and work with this, it could be a nice thing. You could have this whole cord cutter movement, like people are like, screw the cable company, I don't like their bundles, I don't like their packages, I don't like anything they're doing. You could have people who actually like, well, now that I have other options for maybe just subscribing to this 2 or 3 cable channels that I like, maybe I will now pay for those for 10 or $15 a month or something reasonable, rather than paying 80 or 100 for a guy's bundle or something like that. There's lots of possibilities. I see a crazy huge potential for like HTPCs in the future and the ability to get over-the-air content and that kind of thing. So I really hope this goes through. If you guys want to go over to the FCC website, you can do that, and I believe there is a place where you can provide commentary on this particular decision and that sort of thing. I think if the cable companies really push back against this and refuse to go along with it, it's just going to speed up their demise, which wouldn't be a terrible thing anyway. But I mean, I don't know. There's some good entertaining cable shows. people just hate the cable companies and their methods of providing them.
Well, I mean, when all the ISPs go down, all those shows will just hop onto the internet. A lot of them already have. So.
And yeah, and we're already seeing a bunch of channels, even like major network channels, that
Streaming.
are coming back and saying like, hey, you can go over to our website now and stream the shows or that kind of stuff, which makes sense.
The future.
I think a lot of other people are willing to pay some money for content that we enjoy. It's a reasonable amount, and we don't feel like we're being needlessly roped into paying for stuff that we don't want.
Here's a question. What shows do you watch that you can only get from cable that you can't get from legally acquiring on the internet? That you personally watch? Because I can't name one for me.
I've kind of... No, I can. It's one that you said you watched too.
Which one?
Cutthroat Kitchen.
I've watched that entire series on Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
Yes.
Not the new shows, though.
The new shows?
Like when they first come out. I have no idea. I've never tried to look it up on Netflix or anything.
I mean, I started several seasons late, so
Yeah, me too.
they have the whole thing on. I mean, okay, granted, while cable still exists, you're gonna get all the content on Netflix.
Syndication
a
is
season late.
Yeah, syndication
But-
means that any show that's syndicated can then, if they set up the deals, be put on Netflix or something like that.
Right.
But what a lot of people watch the cable networks for and watch live for and don't even like DVR stuff. Like I can't stand watching anything unless it's DVR and I can skip the commercials. But a lot of people watch live because it's new and it's the newest version of the show and they want to watch it right when it comes out and immediately when it's available. So
I mean, Amazon's video. I mean, like, I could get a cable subscription for shows like, The Walking Dead, for example. AMC, right? Classic, basic cable network. But that's available to me through Amazon Instant Video. So I can just pay, $1 or $2 for a standard or HD version of that episode as it airs, like the night it airs. So
what show? I didn't.
The Walking Dead.
Oh, Walking Dead. Okay.
Yeah, which has traditionally been a basic cable show for a long time, but
Yeah.
you can find stuff like that, through Amazon or other means, instantly, where you can see it the same time or the same day as everyone else. So I don't know. It's just food for thought, I guess. Like
It is. I saw a
you
couple
need
couple
cable.
people in chat bring up sports, and I don't think
Sports.
neither of us are big sports people, but sports is a huge influencer of this, and
Can't argue with
probably
sports, folks.
probably one of the holdouts I think is going to be sports and sports channels.
Yeah.
When it comes to this type of stuff, because they have some very lucrative like contracts in place and all that kind of stuff.
True.
Yeah, and so some of the sports stuff. You're like, I want to go watch this thing and watch my team play, and then it's like, this is not available in your area due to subscriber.
Right.
That kind of BS. It's annoying.
That's
Okay.
that's exactly why I don't watch sports, just for that reason.
Oh, there's lots of reasons to not watch sports. But let's move on
Alright.
to the next segment.
What are we doing? What are we
Just
doing?
tales from space.
Go.
There's nothing from space.com. No, there's maybe one story from
It's a misleading
space.com.
thumbnail.
I really want to update this lower thirds. I really hope we never get in trouble for Marvin being on there. All right, let's.
If we haven't by now.
We have it by now, but who knows? Who knows in the future? If YouTube can go and flag, what's his face, Eli the computer guy. If YouTube can go and do a strike on Eli the computer guy for a video he posted 2.5 years ago.
True. It's only a matter of time before they catch us with Marvin.
Yeah. We're not going to discuss that any further,
not
by
big
the way.
enough.
It's something I'm aware of, but we're not going to discuss it on the show. Eli, have you been following any of that stuff?
Briefly.
Very interesting. Maybe next week.
All fair use.
Okay, let's start with SpaceX. SpaceX that we have discussed before. SpaceX
What are they doing this time?
study. SpaceX has a launch tomorrow. Tomorrow. If you guys have the opportunity, I highly recommend watching it. It's available to the website and a lot of fun. What are they launching? They are launching a rocket. They're using the Falcon 9, it's the first stage Falcon 9 rocket we've talked about before, which is pretty badass. And I'm just gonna let this video play because it shows a couple of the...
Watching SpaceX is like watching Let's Plays of Orbital Space.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just see if this blows up or not. See
Well,
if
that's-
it actually goes higher than 5 feet.
That is pretty much what they're saying. Is there's a pretty good chance that this one might blow up. As you're about, so this is what's happening. They're trying to land the Falcon 9 first stage on a floating barge in the middle of the ocean. It's very difficult, and if it doesn't land and stay straight, it falls over or something like that and explodes. Which we've
enough.
seen in a few different examples up here. Basically, SpaceX is saying, hey, if you want to see another Falcon 9 rocket explode, tune in for our launch tomorrow.
I like the sense of humor they have.
I get
behind
it. I appreciate
That's
them setting people up for
Failure.
failure. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to underpromise.
Keep the bars up.
Yeah. So they are launching a telecommunications satellites. They're launching it for SES. I don't even know what SES is. I think it's a boat. Yeah, whatever. They were actually supposed to launch this satellite in September. It was delayed due to their explosion that happened in June or July, and a few other things. This is an SES-9 satellite, and the rocket is going to be positioning it in geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is slightly more difficult to achieve than like low Earth orbit because it needs to achieve a circular path. It has to be 22,000 miles above the Earth, and this one's going to be specifically above the equator. And I believe this is going to be doing Asia-Pacific satellite communications and TV and that kind of thing. So a useful satellite. And another thing that I keep trying to point out when they talk about like SpaceX failures and the rockets coming down and exploding is the launches are fine. The launches are doing what they're meant to do and delivering the satellites up into orbit where they should be. What they're trying to do is recycle the first stage of the rocket, which can save them a butt ton of money and also be better for the environment and make launching stuff into space more affordable. And they're trying to perfect the method of doing that. They're trying to perfect the method of doing that over water as well, because it makes it much more fuel efficient than having to navigate to a specific point on land. And the fact that they're doing this specific satellite, the SES-9, into high Earth orbit, also that it's this heavy satellite, means that they're just not really anticipating the re-landing of the Falcon 9 rocket going well. So, I'm probably gonna try to catch this tomorrow when it happens.
What time did you say?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's something.
I want to see it too.
Something that should be. There's a launch window. Wait. There's a launch window.
So I can tweet at SpaceX and give them shit.
Yeah, there's a 90-minute launch window. Wow.
Does that mean it's going to be
Aha!
launching?
6:46 p.m.
That's very specific.
Eastern Time
46.
from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Huh.
Okay, so
that's
for-
3:46 Pacific.
Yeah, so about
I will be.
6:46 p.m. Eastern Time is when the scheduled launch is going to take place. Kyle's not going to be able to watch because he has scheduled masturbation in that time slot. But hey,
Fully booked.
yeah, just
The whole
looked
month.
up. What can you do? All right. So guys, yeah, it's fun to watch these launches. I don't know. It gets me excited about space flight and stuff. Okay. Here's another story from sciencemag.org.
Science mag.
This is about NASA's next space telescope, and this is an artist's inception of that space telescope.
Yep.
The article actually starts off by talking about the James Webb Space Telescope, which I think we've also brought up here on the show before. That is actually scheduled to launch in 2 years, in 2018.
Okay.
This article is about a different space telescope, this one here. But the reason they bring up the James Webb Space Telescope is because the James Webb Space Telescope originally had a budget of $2 billion, like an anticipated cost. That kind of ballooned over time to like about $8 billion. So it was delayed and all that kind of stuff. But the James Webb Space Telescope is more of like a laser focus.
Okay.
It's a narrow field of view, but it's supposed to be able to look very far. This one is a wide field telescope, so it is called the Wide Field Infrared Survey Telescope, or WFIRST.
Well, first.
Well, first, yeah.
Sounds like a YouTube comment.
It does. It's just like a YouTube comment. This actually has the same resolution as the Hubble telescope, but it has 100 times the field of view. 100 times the field of view. And I wish I saw a picture of them taking the
As in
actual. Yeah.
Damn.
So wide field, like it's
Yeah.
it's looking at big wide expanses.
That's awesome.
And I did have a picture. I saw a picture at one point of them actually positioning the sensors on this thing, but it's not in this article, so I'm sorry I can't show you. I shouldn't even have told you. Now you feel like you're missing something.
Yeah, what the hell,
It's okay
man? Feel
though.
so left out.
John Grunsfeld, the head of NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington, D.C., said this. He said that this mission uniquely combines the ability to discover and characterize planets beyond our own solar system with the sensitivity and optics to look wide and deep into the universe in a quest to unravel the mysteries of dark energy and dark matter.
Wide and deep, huh?
Wide and deep. It's a WFIRST. That's what it's made for.
It's just,
Sexy.
It's just like John Grundle's field.
Super sexy.
Yep.
So yeah, what else? What else about this? Estimated launch for this one is mid-2020s.
$2 billion?
And again, the total cost estimate is $2 billion, which is the same cost estimate from the James Webb Space Telescope. So from what I've read here, they're like, it's estimated at $2 billion, but
That's
if history is any indicator, it might go up from there. There was actually, in December, just a couple months ago, Congress in the U.S. approved a 2016 spending plan that included $90 million for work on WFIRST, which is, what is that? It's like 5% of the total $2 billion budget or something like that, or maybe less. But they hey, at least they got some money. They got some walking around money to kind of kick things off with. And they also have orders to officially move the project forward early in 2016. So
Sweet.
hopefully we will soon have something more to show you of this than just
Alien Discovery is just around the corner, folks.
and aliens.
That's all I really care about.
Guaranteed to find aliens.
Space news is cool, but just show me the aliens.
Okay. One last space story
Fuck
here.
yes.
This was posted earlier today by Scott Kelly, who's who's doing the year in space right now. It's a fascinating video here. He's getting almost to the end of his year in space, and in my personal opinion, he's starting to go insane. Maybe
Really?
just a little.
Is that like a Tempur-Pedic mattress that he's
No,
got there? What is that?
it's one of those silly videos. They start out with like, this astronaut is taking this box and he's securing it here so that they can take the inventory and put it in the box and keep track of it and all this kind of stuff. And then he steps away from it for a second, and then there's a monkey. There's just a big monkey busts out of the box and goes flying around the space station.
That's scarier than Alien.
That is kind of freaky. I would be scared. And look, the monkey is
I like they
chasing
time-lapse it too. Like these guys, like, what are they working on? Are they using Adobe Premiere in space
to make him go faster.
to make videos?
I don't know.
And like you mentioned, why do they have a monkey suit in space?
that was the
Or
first.
is that like the thing that they like? Oh, don't forget the monkey suit. We're going to space.
It was the first thing.
Did you pack the monkey? Forget the food. Forget the oxygen tanks. Did you get the monkey suit?
If you guys watch,
Eh?
or no, if you guys have read or I guess watched The Martian,
Yep.
I don't know, any of the stuff about space travel, they're always like anything you take up into space like has to be as light as possible. Like every single ounce or smaller of weight is like really strictly looked at because it costs X amount of fuel to get it up there and move it to where it's gonna go. But they have an ape costume
Sent me.
on
What
the
Esky did.
on the.
You're one of the
Do you think
few-
Scott Kelly was just like,
International
"Come
Space
on, guys, it's gonna be lighter in space"?
That's probably that must have been how he convinced
Damn,
him to get
Kelly,
up there.
you outsmarted us again. You
This-
can bring the monkey suit.
This does rank right up there for me with the other one he posted, which is them watching that space movie. Spaceballs. In the past couple of years, shoot. Why-
Past couple of years?
Yeah,
Gravity.
Gravity. Yeah, they watch Gravity in the space station. Right?
That'd be cool.
That'd be freaky,
Yeah.
right?
I
You've
would
seen Gravity,
not,
right?
I would not want to watch that.
Yeah, and the picture. Did you see the picture he posted?
No.
So they have a big screen TV, right? That's here.
Yeah.
Above the like kind of
window?
kind of a view. No, just kind of a view like this, of
Other station.
like the open
Shit.
like
closed it.
like the TV's like here,
Uh-huh.
and then below the TV is one of these little passageways from one section of the station to the other. But what's being shown on the TV is footage of that passageway into the next section of the space
Right
station.
before it like just all falls to shit.
Yeah, and then the debris from the Chinese satellite comes.
That was
flying
like
and kills
this
everyone.
one time when I was on the plane and I was like getting really nervous about like the turbulence and stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna tune out, I'm watching a movie, I'm gonna chill, put my earbuds in. And like I fired up my Nexus 7, I was like watching Fight Club, and it gets to the airplane scene where everyone's like falling out. I'm like, oh my fucking god! Oh my god, no! Finding Nemo, Finding Nemo.
I didn't- Yeah, they have strict rules about that actually.
Yeah.
For the movies they show on airplanes, and what they can show, and what they
Can't
can't.
cause
You can't show
freak out panic.
a plane crashing. That would freak people out. Okay,
Hopefully.
what do we have next?
Sword fight.
Yes, time for sword.
I really need a soundboard, but stop
Ching ching.
half-assing my
Start
sound.
swinging all over the place. So guys, Sword Fight is where Kyle and I take opposing sides for a controversial topic, and you guys help us get the votes and let us know what you think.
Sorry,
So-
headphone users.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's people up. All right, so we're gonna start off here with a little bit more discussion about the Apple versus FBI thing, which we first started talking about on Kyle's half of the show. And Abidance, thank you for your dollar donation. And I could probably add you on Steam, but not right now. Okay. Anyway, so guys, if you've been following the Apple FBI stuff, there's some controversy there. The FBI wants Apple to basically create a backdoored version of the iOS for the iPhones to allow the FBI to access the phone, the iPhone 5C, that one of the horrible people who killed a bunch of people in San Bernardino. Get more. And
Ali, I'm at some kind
Cal and
of
I
station. Pipeline
we
ends
discussed this
here.
pretty strongly, and now we're gonna be forced. One of us is gonna have to take Apple's side on this one.
Yeah.
Apple is right, or the FBI is right. What do you think? These are the two options. Obviously, we have already said that both of us sort of naturally agree with Apple in
Right.
this sense. But hey, for the sake of arguments and the fact that I think in any discussion it's important to take a good, strong look at both sides,
For the sake of argument, let's argue.
let's argue. That is the whole point.
Okay, then in the spirit of sword fight, I'm going to side with the FBI on this one, Paul.
Okay.
Because, I think at the forefront of importance and significance here is our safety as Americans. And how can we expect the FBI to further investigate situations like the mass shootings at San Bernardino, or to even prevent future events, future terrorist attacks like what we saw in France, if they don't have access to really like important data that could be stored on someone's computer or mobile device, that that could really be a barrier to entry to unlocking all the secrets and mysteries behind these terrorist attacks. Because you know what? Innocent lives were lost. Innocent lives were lost that day, and many days.
Ali,
and
I got
if
it.
we can
The place
find
was
those
already
people
flooded,
justice,
so now what? We just
and
just
bear in
wait?
mind that's not just justice for them, but for the American people as a community and as a society,
good?
then we should stop at nothing. And we cannot look those victims, the families of those innocent people, those victims, in the eye, unless we bring those terrorists to justice. And we can't do that unless we have a backdoor into iOS and we master key everyone's iPhone. But we won't misuse it.
Well, Kyle.
You just have to trust us, Paul. You just have to trust that the FBI won't misuse this master key to unlocking anyone's phone, because FBI has a huge record and don't ask questions.
Okay.
Beat that.
I agree with you on several of your points. I agree with you that the FBI should have access to data that they need in order to do an investigation. I agree with you that I don't know if you said this explicitly, but I agree with you that people, or people who choose to take actions like these, people who choose to be terrorists and hurt other people, don't deserve the rights that are extended to the rest of us. However,
thank you, Kyle.
I think it is very important to distinguish between these terrible people who have committed these terrible
I don't have
acts
a death
and the
wish.
rest
I just
of society. And I think if Apple were to go along with the FBI's request in this case, they would be treating everyone who has an Apple
don't
device
even know what you just did.
as if they were in
Our
the same
wells have been
grouping
polluted.
as these
Follow me.
terrorists, for no other reason than the fact that they all use iPhones. I would also like to point out that once a tool like this is created, as much as the FBI might say that it's only for our use, we'll be responsible with it, anything like that, the fact is that humans are fallible,
Yazir,
and that eventually someone will have
Faith?
access
Okay.
to this,
At this
who
point,
is a
I'll
fallible
take
person,
anything.
who is offered hundreds of thousands of dollars by a foreign dictatorship, something like that, to leak the code out that would allow people to have access to this version of the operating system that circumvents the security that Apple has built in. I would point you to, for instance, the NSA's wiretapping program.
I thought you were going to say the fappening. But go
No,
ahead.
the NSA's wiretapping program.
Just as important.
Which allowed NSA employees to do wiretaps without warrants. And do you know what many documented NSA employees did with that power?
Used it.
They wiretapped their girlfriends and wives.
GG.
Watched them because they didn't trust them or whatever other version. And if you think that's right, I strongly disagree. So yeah.
Gotta work that out.
I have a feeling most of you guys, this was kind of probably already a very slanted argument, so thanks, Kyle, for at least taking the opposing side on
You're
that one.
welcome.
Let's see what you guys
I
think.
tried.
Very, very vast majority agrees that Apple is right. We do have a few people on the side of the FBI, and like I said, there are two sides to every argument, so I do understand why some people believe that the FBI is valid in their request for this. We had several abstainers, though. We had 20% of people who are just like, I don't even want to get involved.
I wonder
touch that.
like it would be different if we like polled families of the victims of the shooting.
Oh, that's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it'd be hard to do, but I question myself, like if I was a family member of one of the victims. Like I don't know. God forbid I'm never in that situation, but I don't know what I would vote on that poll there.
Yeah, that's a
That would be me.
difficult. It's a hard decision to make, and
Yeah.
I think if you look at it from the point of you're upset and you're angry and you feel people have committed a great injustice and you want them to be held responsible for it, even though they've already killed themselves because they're cowards.
Right.
Like, yeah, you want to know as much as you can. You want to dig into that. You want to I think it's part of that healing process for people is they want to just get as much detail as they can so that they can fully
Right,
digest
closure,
something or
right.
something like that. But
It's ultimately
yeah.
a conflict or this tension between the heart and the mind, I think. It's like, are your emotions speaking more loudly, or is like your voice of reason,
yeah,
your logic? Interesting.
it is. All right.
But you win.
So thank you, Kyle.
We're all
right,
winners
Let's transition
to
to something a lot less serious.
crumple or fold.
I mean, completely other side of the spectrum.
Oh, we're talking about
less
toilet
serious.
paper, aren't we?
I'm glad you were able to figure that out. Here's the next. All right, because I wanted to lighten the load a little bit after we.
I was like, is this like a thermal paste application question?
We have no. This is a very important question. This
No,
is
it is.
very
It is.
important, for everyone.
I had a recent conversation
lives-
with my friends about this very topic.
You did. All right. Well, I'm glad.
It was split right down the middle. Literally. I'm just on fire with the puns
You
tonight.
are.
I don't know
You're
what's
right,
up.
You're right there. All right. So guys, here's the eternal question: crumple or fold? And as Kyle has maybe already pointed out, let me post this in YouTube chat as well. As Kyle already pointed out, if you can't figure it out by just the basic question, we're talking about toilet paper. And I think this
Right
really,
back
beyond political lines or anything else, I think this really is what separates people into diametrically opposed categories here is crumple or fold.
Yep.
So Kyle,
I am gonna
this
go.
is a serious discussion we gotta have here, and which of these do
I'm
you
gonna say that I like to make
Lena,
little
can you hear
origami
me?
animals and then
Lena?
send them to their fate. It's a genius answer, by the way. Well done. I think I'm gonna have to
Fine,
go
don't
with
worry,
fold.
but listen.
All right.
I'm
your
not a
patient
barbarian,
was right.
Okay.
and this is actually reflective
Group
of,
here, and all
of
its
my
members
real
seem to be
opinion.
immune to
Also,
the
this has nothing to
virus.
do with tech.
No, it doesn't.
Kyle took all the good text.
You gave me shit for my face-off punishment, not relating to tech. Your sword fight questions, crumple or fold.
Communicates through a
You
priest.
son of a bitch.
There's technology
Touch
involved.
with them, but these people don't
Sort
trust
of.
outsiders for shit.
All right.
Toilets weren't even around back then. Okay.
Yeah, see?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with fold. I've been folding for years, ever since I can remember, because it makes the most sense if you think about it. When you're crumpling, you essentially you don't have a perfectly flat surface like you do when you're folding. So when you're crumpling, you're actually introducing air pockets or air gaps, and the surface area of your wiped surface is actually significantly reduced compared to having a flat surface that's folded. Folding is much neater as well, and I can tell you why. It is actually even better for the environment in a way, because I frequently reuse my toilet paper when I fold, which is something I would never be able to do when crumpling. So what I'll do is I'll fold, I'll wipe, and then I'll fold again, kind of like, go hot dog or hamburger, or however you want to do it, and then I'll wipe a second time, so I'm actually getting 2 wipes per fold, whereas with a crumple solution, you couldn't really ever get to that point, because there's nowhere else to fold the crumple, unless you use the other side, but then you risk getting your hands dirty, and that's no fun. So the fold is a much more sophisticated and elegant way to wipe your precious and fragile bottom, if I don't say so myself.
Do you know that I did not know you were gonna, I'll be honest. I feared that you were gonna go down the eco route. The eco route there,
And I did.
And I didn't expect you to pull the fold and reuse option there, but you did. You did. So I
Yes, I
gotta
could
I gotta
write a book
give you credit for that. However,
Thank you.
However, I'm sticking with crumple here.
Yep.
For one reason and one reason only, and that is that there is essentially all right, if you're wiping your ass,
Yeah.
you have a very singular goal, and it's not to wipe your ass. It's to not get shit on your hands, right?
Okay.
That for me, more so than the wiping of the ass, is extremely important. The folding method introduces a physical. This is physics here. This is science, and this is physics, so therefore it cannot be argued with.
Use the science
It
argument.
physically introduces a natural amount of instability and a lack of what's the word?
It's not an overclock pile of
No.
toilet paper.
No, but it's
Instability.
unstable. It's unstable. See, when you crumple, when you have that crumple pile together, the TP automatically it folds up on itself and it creates a more stable environment. It actually it's like when you're making a sandwich and you're putting you're putting the deli meats on there.
Gross analogy.
And you're folding
Wiping
up.
your ass.
I know, but you got to stick with me here. And you got to fold it up right there so that there's more surface area. If you lay all the lunch meat flat, it sucks. Okay? Somehow that correlates to my argument. Point here is though, you can tell me this: you take the same amount of toilet paper, fold it flat, and then just take your finger and try to poke through, right there. Just because that all it takes is one poke through of your nice folded layers. And if you're refolding it after they've been used once, as Kyle already blasphemously advocated in his argument, you're introducing even further reduction of the amount of layers that you have there between you and
That
shit on
doubles
your
the amount
fingers.
of layers.
No.
If you fold it.
No,
in
because you
half-
have shit and you folded there. Now there's half the layers between the shit and your finger than what was originally there between your originally amount of layers.
Okay,
That's
well,
physics.
You don't.
That is science.
You don't put your
That
finger
is
in the
science.
same spot where your shit was wiped. So, for example, usually I like to start off at a lower point, like let's say this is the folded piece, and I'll wipe with my finger right here on the bottom half, and then when I fold it, I'll put my finger over here on the top half,
much
so
is-
when I wipe it, it doesn't actually go anywhere near the first
I'm wondering
wipe.
how much our view count has dropped off during this discussion.
Additionally, yes, you're right. You can fold. You can with the folding method. You can poke it right in. You can poke a hole with your finger. But is there a finger sticking out of your asshole that's going to like actually penetrate the toilet paper when you wipe? No, there's not. I don't know how pointy of an asshole you have.
It's not from inside the asshole.
But for you to use the example of poking it through with your finger is not accurate, or it's not valid because there's no finger that's sticking out of your asshole when you wipe.
All I'm saying is when it comes to the chance of your finger breaking through the number of layers of TP that you've put between your finger and the shit, if you have it nicely folded up on top of each other, there's more likelihood of your finger breaking through that than crumpled with many layers doubled over on each other.
You need to get on that triple ply, bro. Get on that triple ply hype train, bro.
Because the triple ply wasn't. We didn't introduce that. That wasn't part of the question. All right. We've discussed
That
this
shit up, man. Talking it up.
far more than we should have. So.
Triple plying. Are you triple plying?
Wow.
Triple plying.
Apparently, I lose horribly.
Wow.
Everyone
I'm actually
folds.
kind of surprised. I thought most people would say purple.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people I talk to.
Well, I argued
Say
strongly, but I'm also a folder. But
Yeah.
I don't go back and reuse this.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic sauce move right there. Super saucy.
All right,
Double the sauce, double the fun.
guys, we have a few more minutes here for some Q&A. That's usually how we end the show. So if you guys have any questions for us in Twitch chat or in YouTube chat or on Twitter, send them our way. We'll take a couple minutes here and try to answer a few of those. And there's probably very important things that we know that we've never told you, and
We'd like to know
those
about.
things can only be unlocked by asking the right questions.
Ask wisely.
It's very important. All right. Here's a good question from SoulDemon35. Is my Kingwin license still working? And did I find out if it is MSDN?
I'll tell you all about that.
Soul Demon, my Kingwin license, yes, it's still working. I have heard from people of having their licenses deactivating after time, but I've only heard stories so far from people who are using older versions of Windows 7 or Windows 8. My personal, I don't want to call it an opinion, yeah, I guess it's an opinion. My hope right now is that Microsoft, since they really want people to be on Windows 10, and they don't care how it happens, that they will be more accepting of perhaps, I don't know, these other methods of getting Windows legitimately versus just paying Microsoft $200 or $100 or $120 for it. So yeah, as of now, the only people who I've heard back from who have had King 1 licenses not work have been people who are buying older versions and trying to run them Windows 7 and Windows 8. And I haven't heard anyone from recently do it, but I am trying to really keep an eye on that, and I do plan on making a follow-up video at some point to give some more information on people who have done that and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions you saw, Kyle?
Let's see.
Steve O'Nevo asked, do you guys use password management software or not?
I don't.
I do not.
Password book. I think so does Paul. But I keep all my passwords written down. At all times. And that seems to work for me.
Yeah. Okay. Dual socket versus single socket. This is from Afro Dogs. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, dual socket's cool if you're doing something that uses that has tons and tons of threads.
Yeah.
You can actually take advantage of it.
Super threaded.
For most people who are building gaming PCs, single socket just makes a lot more sense because you don't have to buy two processors, and
2 coolers.
most games aren't going to use more than 4 threads right now.
Yeah.
And most single socket CPUs, especially if you're looking at consumer grade ones that can overclock, are going to perform much better on a instructions per clock level than even a couple really high-end Xeons. Okay.
Cody Man's asking, yo, for UV stuff, cold cathodes or LEDs? I would go with LEDs. Cathodes are not quite as flexible, quite literally, and figuratively. There's some really nice UV LED strips from CableMod that you can pick up for relatively cheap, and they work excellently. And they're a lot more flexible. Like I said, you can position them in